I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I am your host, Richie, here with my guy, upstate New York, Mr. Ryan Shedd. How you doing, boss?
Hey, man. Happy to be here. I'm in my new digs. Always give the weather report up here in upstate New York. So, the humidity's been awful recently. The humidity finally lifted. So we're looking at, mid 70s, no humidity, actually like perfect weather for up here. Like a week ago, man, it was like 95. You couldn't even walk outside with this like burning a sweat. So, really enjoying it now. How's the weather down there in Florida?
To put it bluntly, bro, hot as hell. Too damn hot.
Let's just call it August. It's August, man. It's got to be brutal down there. I don't belong down there. That's why I'm up here.
Yeah, let's keep it a buck. It's not a friendly place for gingers,
Hey, not having a
all
soul
kinds of
tough.
extra precautions with the sun.
Yeah, man. Dude, every time I go down there for vacation, I see you guys, man. I got war paint on, man, the whole time. Like, if I don't, my whole entire vacation be ruined. I'd just be a freaking red potato.
Daniel Nunez, what's up, Zappy? That is Shedd, sir.
Ouch, that hurts my feelings.
That is, because you have the Cowboy and the Niner. This is Ryan Shedd, a.k.a.
That's hurtful.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
It's 99 over here in Cali where I'm at right now. All right.
Hey, how's the humidity, though, Danny? Probably not too bad.
Yeah. I would think, anyway. That is our background art.
Oh, no, it's because of Zappy, it's because of the banner in the background. That's why.
Damn. Still says Zappy.
Well, it also says from the Bronx. It's just because the banner in the background. It's fine.
We're having fun here. All right, enough of this nonsense. Okay, on tonight's show, we're going to be hitting on the Major League trade deadline. It is hot and heavy the past couple of hours in MLB. All kinds of player movement. I was getting to that point, Shedd, where I was really getting aggravated with the Yankees. But I think they redeemed themselves to a level, making some quality moves for some arms. Camilo Doval of the San Francisco Giants has closing experience. He is a decent one. David Bednar, who the Pirates actually had the audacity to send down to Triple-A, he's had a very good 2 months since re-arriving in the bigs. He is joining the Yankee pen. And a lot of movement, so bear with me. I'm going to pull up some of these moves right here, specific to the Yankees.
And Jake Bird came.
Yes, Jake Bird, from my understanding, because I don't watch a lot of Rockies games, he's been struggling lately. But, it's a friendly switch when you go to Yankee Stadium, or pretty much any ballpark, as opposed to Coors Field. But the Yankees have made it clear they are prioritizing the bullpen.
It's definitely been a weakness, and to your point with bringing Jake Bird over to New York, I mean, it's more of a friendly ballpark as far as hitting goes. Also, it can be a big a boost for your confidence because of how dumpster fire the Rockies have been this year. To go to a ball club that's been successful, has the history the Yankees have, and then join, potential MVP Aaron Judge. I know he's hurt right now, but in this that familiarity with the stadium, and also being a part of the legacy of the Yankees, so that could build a lot of confidence and actually give him the extra boost he needs to actually become a very reliable and great bullpen addition for the Yankees.
Yeah, I like it. Other moves the Yankees made ahead of this, obviously Ryan McMahon, who I think is in just a few days, not even a full week, definitely showing his worth as a third base option, the only true option, as they should have. Interesting today, for the second time in a week, two players, two teams traded players during a game that they were competing against each other. We saw it with Toronto and the Orioles. And today, Jose Caballero, a shortstop from the Tampa Bay Rays, joining the New York Yankees. And I am very pleased with that move because it provides legitimate competition now, where if Anthony Volpe continues to keep making these errors in the field, he's going to be held accountable by potentially having to split some time with Jose, who, in my opinion, defensively is more sturdy right now. I don't really think it's debatable. Oswald Peraza, he's out of the picture. The Yankees gave this kid a million chances. He just can't hit. I wish him well. I hope he refines his game offensively with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. LA. He's an angel now.
Yeah, so you made a great point with the competition factor. I mean, Anthony Volpe essentially had no one behind him, so there wasn't a lot of pressure. Having a legit competition to solidify your spot in a lineup and on the team can bring out the best in somebody, knowing that there's somebody that could potentially take your spot. And this may be the fire that Volpe needs to finally figure out his slump, finally, find a remedy for his infield errors he's had all throughout the year. I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise for Volpe, even though he may not like the move. For the organizational standpoint, as a fan standpoint, it is a fantastic move. And if Volpe doesn't, it's his spot right now. But if he continues on this decline, then his spot is now gone. You know what I mean? So it was a smart move and the right move, organizationally speaking. As far as Volpe's confidence, and yes, he's given a million shots. It's a lot of pressure too. I mean, playing in New York, you're facing Derek Jeter, then Didi. Now you have Volpe. He's a young guy too. He may just need a little bit of time. We've all given him a lot of time, to be honest. But I think this very well may be the right move to get him into gear.
Yeah, and you talked about pressure. Anthony Volpe is one of only 4 New York Yankees all time to start opening day of their rookie season. So when you think about the rich history of the New York Yankees, and Anthony Volpe is one of those 4 guys, that says an awful lot off the rip.
Sure
and it's a weird contrast because I had this conversation with Zappy off air on the phone yesterday, and Zappy basically said, because I threw that stat at him, Volpe, 6 home runs in the last 11 games versus 5 errors over the last 11 games. And I tend to agree with Zappy, at least in this situation, where he said offense is going to outweigh defense, especially if a guy who's been slumping has been getting hot, which Volpe has. But you want better defense, bottom line, because it's going to bite you in the worst possible times. And the Yankees, one of the worst fielding percentages in recent memory for them. They have got to be sturdier on defense. I think with McMahon, now at third base, that is huge for them. He's already showed his worth. He's already played hero in an extra inning game. It should have been Giancarlo Stanton, but that at bat was just so pathetic. He got himself out. He did hit a bomb today, and that's what Stanton does. Stanton hits bombs. He's always going to hit bombs. I would like for him to once in a while welcome the walk. It is okay to walk.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to run to first. G. Just walk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't have to if he hits a bomb.
No,
I mean, you can
sir.
jog and just go around the four bases.
Yeah, guy's built like an Adonis, but just so many injuries over the years. We're going to keep moving it along to other teams, but before we do, staying on the Yankees for a second here. Austin Slater, veteran outfielder from the White Sox. That's a depth piece. Bednar, Bird, Caballero, McMahon, Duvall of the Giants also coming over. So you got three guys that all have experience on some level of closing games too, particularly with Bednar and Duvall. And I think it's the Yankees' way of saying that they have not been pleased with some of the guys leading up to Weaver and D-Will, because Jonathan Loaisiga, who has usually been a reliable guy, this year has not been. Tim Hill, as of late, has been pitching well, and it's always good to have that lefty out of the pen. But I think after a quiet start, this was good. As far as third goes, McMahon was the consolation prize, because at the top of everybody's third base wish list was Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks, but you're getting McMahon a little cheaper, which I also understand. Yankees have also been linked to Hauser of the White Sox. Nothing has happened yet with that. There have been false reports going back to yesterday that he was traded. That has not happened yet. But we are potentially still in on Hauser, who started the year with the Texas Rangers, was DFA'd, but he's had a very good season on a very bad team with the White Sox. And what I like about it is he comes cheap if the Yankees do take that on.
Overall, Richie, I would just like to add that, I mean, you can use the McMahon piece, but what the Yankees did is it's still a positive. There was no splashy moves, sort of, and
McMahon's the closest one to a splashy move.
Exactly. I mean, I would argue that's just someone just dropped a rock in the puddle. Like it's there, it's a blip, but other than that, it's depth pieces, and to be fair, they're necessary depth pieces, but there was nothing that went, wow, jumped off the page. You know what I mean? They did what was necessary. I would still consider it a win in the trade deadline, but I just don't think it was like overwhelmingly great, but a positive overall.
Let's say if nothing else happens before it's all said and done, I give the Yankees a solid B. And the reason not an A or better is because this is a trade that I wanted to happen that didn't. And I know that some people might not agree with me, and that's okay. When you have a former Cy Young Award winner, a guy who's always a candidate when healthy, in Shane Bieber, and a quintessential leadoff option in a Stephen Kwan, both guys, getting shopped by the Guardians. Ultimately, Bieber was dealt to the Jays. This is a guy that's ramping it up right now, looking good in triple. That's a deal you make. In a season where you're losing Garrett Cole, Luis Gil with all his health issues, those are 2/5 of your rotation. One guy is a perennial Cy Young Award candidate. The other guy is the not defending because you can't defend a Rookie of the Year title, the reigning Rookie of the Year in the American League. Neither one of them contribute this year. That's why you're thankful for Rodon and Fried. But the Yankees need one more pitcher. One more pitcher. The Yankees do.
Yep. They lost Clarkey. They don't have Heel. And you already I obviously touched on Cole. Like they're hurt. You know what I mean? And if you want to get through the dog days of August, which is coming up essentially at midnight tonight, get through there and then go into September, you really need your guys. And they don't. You know what I mean? If you lose Rodon or anybody else in that rotation, you're looking not. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs at the rate they're playing. I know they've been playing a little bit better recently, even with Judge out. But I mean, still, they're not very good against the AL East. I don't know what their problem is with the AL East, but They got to improve there. Otherwise, they are going to be slipping very quickly down the slope.
This is funny. So my dog, I opened up the closet here in my podcast room, and the dog's trying to like consider jumping into nothing but boxes and stuff. And let's just say it's a work in progress. Reason I opened it is because I left some of my white lights at Noah's grandparents' house. So the lighting is not up to par for my liking. It's like kind of at that witching hour. So I said, let me go crack this, get a little bit of extra light on the side here. But yeah, my dog is a character. Daisy, where are you?
Daisy,
Daisy, where are you?
Daisy.
Yeah, she's still not used to Jen and Noah leaving the house. So there's that. Gonna pull up a comment because I gotta mess with my guy Nunez here. Damn, Dustin May is a damn Red Sox. Nunez, I want to thank you for that, supplying our key enemies. There goes Noah. I think that was Noah. There goes Noah.
There he is. What's up, buddy?
Oh, you and Mommy made good time. Say hi to Mr. Shed.
Hi.
Hey, Noah. How's it going, bud?
He asked you how's it going.
Good.
Oh, right.
Yeah, awesome.
You might not hear him because I got the headphones in.
It's all good.
Do me a favor, pal. If you are going that way, just close the door for me.
Oh, no.
But you can hang if you'd like.
I want to.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
fine.
you can.
But
can
close
hang.
that door regardless for me so we keep the sound in here.
Right.
Thank you, buddy. Okay, as I was saying, no, I gotta break his balls a little bit with supplying the Boston Red Sox with some arms,
Yeah, Dustin May's good.
The American League East, you are welcome. Yeah, and Nunez, it's all love, but this is why we hate the Dodgers. Shit like this. If the Mets were not a good team this year, they were out of the race. In previous years, when they were really bad, when they were getting run by the coupons, the Wilpons, they would do shit like this, where they would feed Boston and Baltimore talent to go at the Yankees because they are petty like that. Social, what's going on, bro? New follower to the show here. Appreciate you very much. Met him in the neighborhood the other day. Great person. Okay, Shed, before we move it along, your expectation for the New York Yankees right now, as opposed to 48 hours ago, that you said they're not the most splashy of moves, but they got better. It's not always the splash that gets you deeper into the playoffs. Sometimes it's necessitable stuff because the bullpen is in a much healthier place than it was 48 hours ago. And defensively at the hot corner, you've greatly improved. And now you provide your biggest defensive liability with a little bit of competition. So if you ask me, I think they had a good 48 hours.
Man, yeah, everything you just said. I mean, so like the subtle moves. I mean, again, they weren't splashy, but at the same time, they were subtle in that they covered bases that they knew were like holes and filled them. And it may not be great to everybody that's watching that, they're not big names. It's not like bringing over, we obviously Shane Bieber or whoever, but a lot of the issues we were having defensively with third base, shortstop. I mean, the shortstop provides a little bit more competition with Volpe, and he will now be benched if he's not going to deliver. And then you have the bullpen issues that we've had all year long that have been addressed. So starting pitching still may be a thing, and Judge getting healthy is another thing. However, to answer your question, I think the Yankees are in a better place for now than 48 hours ago. And are they a better team? Yes. Do I think it'll take a couple of weeks to, get the other guys acclimated in the New York, atmosphere and things like that? Sure.
Absolutely.
But as long as they go out there and just ball out, they'll be fine.
And it's not like any other place. Because when you become a Yankee, especially when you're brand new, everything you do good and everything you do bad is under a microscope in the beginning. I mean, I remember great players like Roger Clemens, for instance, the perennial Cy Young Award winner. His first year in New York was by far his best year, and it looked like Toronto won the trade when we sent them David Wells and Homer Bush Sr. But, Clemens earned his stripes, and, he had a good run with the Yankees. in a Hall of Fame worthy career. I say the Hall of Fame worthy because there's reasons why he won't be in the Hall. But like you take a guy like, let's say Bednar. Let's say Bednar comes in and has a stink bomb. He's going to hear it. It's part of the Yankee culture with the fans. I remember when Stanton first came in, and he had a rough couple of first weeks before he started hitting the crap out of the ball. It happens to new Yankee additions. Happens all over baseball. But it is under a true microscope when it is the New York media market. And I will say specific to Yankee fans, because in my genuine opinion, I feel that Met fans are a little more patient with their players. It's a different kind of thing with the Mets versus the Yankees, at least in my opinion.
Well, the Mets have to be patient because that's all they can be, because they've been struggling for so long. Where the Yankees, George Steinbrenner, we want to win. We just want to win, and we expect to win. The Mets don't have that mentality, and I don't think ever have, right? Like, they're just not used to it.
Not sure if this is true because, I never trust every quote I hear anymore, especially if I'm surfing around Meta, Facebook, things of that nature. But I saw something funny. So even if it's not real, it's still funny. But it said that Manny Machado had a couple of choice words for the New York Mets, basically saying, hey, maybe some of that payroll could buy your team some heart on the heels of the Padres 3-game sweep of the Mets. And I'll be honest with you, if it is real, it's even more funny because I do believe that those two may very well see each other in the playoffs. Mets are a better run organization now. At least I think they are. But it's hard for me to totally evaluate that because when you have money, you can buy shiny stuff. But this is the same team that a couple of years ago had Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander being paid and didn't even complete their time together and sent those guys away to contenders. I mean, when you consider that they got Verlander from the Astros and sent him right back and paid him, there's nobody going to tell me that that's a functional move.
No.
That was a panic move because they got rid of their man DeGrom.
Yep. And like you said, I mean, you could even go back to, when George Steinbrenner spent all that money back in the day to, get the David Justices and, the Mark Teixeiras and A-Rods and all that stuff. There was a method to his madness, though, right? Like,
no doubt.
I mean, the method to the madness with the Mets was very short-sighted and never well thought through. And look at what it got them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go out and say that the Yankees didn't make, Steinbrenner himself didn't make mistakes, bringing people over for big bucks just to get them there to play New York. But man, the Mets, I mean, that's just your perennial, there you go. This is why you don't do that. You paid him all this money and then you shipped him off anyway. Dude, slow down, evaluate your stuff, and then don't just buy people to buy people kind of thing.
But speaking of those Mets, I think they did very well.
Yes, they did.
Cedric Mullins, shouts out Richard Dorney, my best friend from childhood, diehard Met fan, bro. This guy is about as loyal a fan as they come. But I will say this, he called Cedric Mullins about a month ago. I mentioned it multiple times on the show, why I thought it made sense. And I do see Mullins coming to the Mets. I mean, he could hit ninth. He could hit leadoff. He can do a lot of things. I think it's
center fielder.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you're getting some great defense with him.
Yep.
They pick up a great bridge for Edwin Diaz and Helsley. I think that's going to work out very well. They also picked up Soto of Baltimore. So, you got some legitimacy in a Met bullpen that prior to doing this was struggling with getting to Edwin Diaz in the same kind of shape as they should. So, offensively, I still think on the bottom of the order, they need help. That's part of the reason why I feel that Mullins will be down on the bottom there to kind of help turn over the lineup better. But, it still goes with your big 2 or 3, in my opinion. That's easy. It's Lindor. It's Soto. It's Pete Alonso. I like Brett Beatty to a level. I think he's doing well there. Jeff McNeil, former batting champion. He has his moments still. But New York Mets definitely needed to make these moves to try to keep pace with the Philadelphia Phillies, who I believe, are going to win that division, but there's a lot of time left. You can't account for injuries or things that could happen. But I think, once again, good stuff for the New York Mets.
Yeah, and to touch on the Phillies, I mean, they did well on the trade deadline as well. I mean, getting Johan Duran,
Mm-hmm.
um, that adds a huge arm for them, to almost rebuttal what the Mets were doing to try to catch them. You know what I mean? So they were obviously they were buyers as well, as fully expected.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't going to just sit there idle and just say, no, we're good with the way we are. With every other contender essentially making moves, they did the same thing, and grabbing that arm was absolutely like, dude, he's going to be great there. Um,
And
I
God
really,
forbid if Diaz gets hurt, you got a guy that can close.
yeah, and you just said it, but he adds a piece that can either set up Diaz or sorry, not Diaz, but Duran adds another piece of that rotation that for Philly, that is going to increase, because Zach Wheeler's getting older, so is Sanchez and so is Suarez.
I
So
apologize for that because I threw you off track.
you
Because I'm down
confused
here
me for a
looking
second.
at
I'm like,
some
wait a minute.
notes, and I'm
You
thinking
confused me.
about
Me
some
for
of
a second.
the bridge to the pen, the bridge to the closer that the Mets did, and you are transitioning to the Phillies. So I take the blame for throwing you off on that
No,
one.
I was
There.
like, wait a minute.
I'm down here reading, and I'm taking
Yeah,
in what you're saying,
you're
but
good.
I'll
You're
take the
good.
blame on that. No, Philadelphia Phillies right now. They're ready to win a championship, if you ask me. They have all the pieces.
Yes, I do.
Nestor Cortez got dealt today. Nestor
Nasty.
Cortez
Nestor.
is a San Diego Padre.
Padre. Yeah.
And Idris would find humor in this because the Milwaukee Brewers right now having a terrific season, and they still trade. Not that Nestor's been a big piece this year because he has not been. He got hurt. He doesn't look like the same guy, but it's hilarious though. Yeah, because if Idris was here, because Idris has always got a soft spot for the Brewers. I think in part because he remembers them from the AL East and kind of just having some cool aspects to their organization. But even like the Bob Uecker stuff, or Bernie Brewer, jumping into the pool of beer, they're kind of got that like, I don't, unless if you're like hyper invested in that division, like if you're a Cardinal fan or if you're like a Cub fan, I don't think too many people hate the Brewers is what I'm getting at.
I was just gonna add that, yeah, the Milwaukee Brewers are a hard team to hate. Like, I honestly, even if you're a Cardinals fan or a Cubs fan, I don't know if you can hate them. Why? For what? I know they're in your division, but it's not like, dude, the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't hate them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate the Toronto Blue Jays. Milwaukee.
I actually have a great deal of respect for the Rays.
I just don't think you can.
And when you have buyers, you're also going to have sellers. And I was talking to former namesake of the show, Jordan Patrick, today, talking about his Rays. And it's got to be upsetting. It's got to be upsetting when you know that you're in the midst of the mix. They have been cold lately, but they are still a decent ball club. But then you start selling off pieces. Littell, who pitched well yesterday in Yankee Stadium, although they lost the game, he got dealt right after the game. Cincinnati Reds, they're getting better. The Central was a joke for a long time. But right now, the Central is not the joke that it once was. I'll be real with you, dude. With the Diamondbacks having the off year, with Corbin Burns, unfortunately, his injury, and just underachieving on the whole, I said in the beginning of the season, they have terrific pitching, possibly the best in the bigs, if all the things are rotationally, if all the things are clicking.
Or aligning, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but you need the offense. Josh Naylor, short stay there, didn't finish his first season there. He's now a Seattle Mariner. The Mariners went hard. Mariners had a very good few days.
Biggest winners.
Absolutely. And, although the Houston Astros are in first, the Mariners are basically saying, you guys are comfortable, not really making too many moves. We're going to come for you now. And you got to like what the Texas Rangers did as well. Merrill Kelly, a formidable trio, as I said on my socials, joining Nathan Eovaldi and, of course, perennial ace Jacob deGrom. I like what the Rangers did today.
Yeah, I mean, but the additions for Seattle. I mean, you had the Suarez trade with Arizona, and then a separate trade to get Josh Naylor. Like, are you serious?
Josh
Like,
Naylor is one of the more underrated players over the course of the last 3 years, where I've seen a gradual growth with him. I mean, of course, in New York, he's never going to win too many fans off the whole little rock the baby thing, and then Torres had the last laugh in that. But that's just competitive shit.
Yeah,
he's a good ball player, and I was actually shocked that he left the Guardians because his brother plays there. That has to be tough to leave your brother, but it's a business.
yeah. I mean, Seattle actually blew me away with the moves they made. I mean, I wouldn't have mind having. I mean, Suarez should have been our first, like, as a Yankee fan. That's who we should have like pursued.
Yeah,
Obviously, Seattle gave him a bigger package. I'm sure, obviously, but man, wouldn't that have been nice to have?
And you also get that Yankee tax because teams, when talking turkey with the Yankees, have or teams like the Yankees. Like if it's the Dodgers, teams that have a lot of assets. In the Dodgers case, it's just driven off of salary where they can really get what they want. Where in the Yankees case right now, we're gradually building up a good farm. Lombard Jr. Is going to be good. Spencer Jones is going to be good. And I think that's part of the reason why the Yankees didn't totally panic and get a big name shortstop, because I think they already might see George Lombard Jr. as Anthony Volpe's potential successor. Right now, they're bringing in a vested player to give honest competition to Anthony Volpe, in my opinion, at any rate. I think that's what they're doing there. But I still want a starter. So before the deadline comes to a conclusion, if we could score Hauser, I mean, hell, dude, I'd even take Sevy back. Because while Sevy's record doesn't look too sexy, that is a minor league ballpark they're playing in Sacramento. His numbers on the road are considerably better. Or basically any ballpark away from there. So I do believe that if he got a second run in the pinstripes, he might be able to do a decent job.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I mean, as far as like who was doing what, because I thought that like Boston would have been bigger buyers, you know what I mean, than they were. Like they're right there. They had that 10-game winning streak going into the All-Star break, and then they really didn't do much.
The one move that they did was getting May.
Yeah, well, Dustin May
sets up kind of like a bridge. I'll tell you the thing that's pissing me off with the Red Sox is that Aroldis Chapman just totally flamed out with the Yankees, and then what he did with the selfishness of assuming he wasn't going to be on the postseason roster by not even reporting, and that just ended the relationship with the New York Yankees. And now he's doing a good job with the Red Sox. So I'm sure that the season ended today, that would be the first round matchup. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's what I want, because we do not match up well with the Boston Red Sox right now.
Oh, not at all. The AL East is so tight. You know what I mean? You have every team over above 500 except for the Orioles, and the Orioles were sellers today. No surprise. They had those couple of years where they had the young talent that was coming up, and that you figure they're finally, like, they have new owners. They're finally actually going to start spending money. They're going to start to be good again, and then here we are. So it's just crazy to me. Like all the poor Baltimore fans, the Oriole fans. They finally got a new owner. They finally got a guy that's going to spend some money and get them what they need. And then they have those couple good years, and now they go seriously. Those things going right back to exactly what they were before. Just kind of.
Nunez has a question from here. Alex Cali is now a Dodger. He came from the Nationals. Is he good at all? He's hitting 274 for the season, Nunez. I'm actually pulling up his stats right now. Just bear with me. He's an outfielder, depth piece. The thing is, and this goes to the same thing. You know, this is a part-time guy that fills in, and you need depth. You know, especially with the kind of injuries that the Los Angeles Dodgers have had this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about Alex Call, so I got nothing for you. Nunez is going to be flying high with the Dodgers, and he's going to be flying high with the Eagles this year. Lucky duck. I don't know. Maybe Nunez. Do you think that the Eagles are still going to be top of the division this year? Get that little slump going. Hopefully, no injuries happen.
I was misinformed. I thought the deadline ended tomorrow at 6. It is indeed the 31st. I thought it was the first day of August. So, yeah, Yankees are done. Everybody's done. Carlos Correa going back to the Houston Astros. What do you think about that, Chad?
I thought it was. I saw that come across my feed, dude. So I'm just smiling. I'm like, so he had a no trade clause and he waived it to go back. Like, I'm just like, no shit. I mean, dude, if I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, man, I'd be upset.
And he left the door cracked when the media asked him about it. And I knew that he was a lot more ready to go than.
Yeah,
it's 100%. A nice pickup. And you know, people might not see it as a big move because, you know, Texas and Seattle making a ton of upgrades, trying to keep it, you know, within striking distance of the Houston Astros. But
he's got championship pedigree. He knows how to play there.
He'll never be a Yankee, and I'll tell you why. Because in Yankee groups, it has been brought up for Correa, like, it's the stuff that he said in comparison to Jeter, why the Yankees would just write him off and never even consider it. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Oh,
I mean, we got former Astros. I mean, we brought in Cole. He was on that 17 team.
Garrett Cole grew up a Yankee fan and always wanted to play for New York. He got drafted by Pittsburgh, ended up over in Houston, and then he was more than happy to come to New York. The other comparison I would do is, you know, it's just like, you know, like Manny Ramirez on Boston or Vlad Guerrero coming up when he played for the Expos back in the day.
Dude.
And he was like, I will never, ever play for the Yankees, blah, blah, blah. He told the same thing to his.
And you know, it's crazy with Manny. Manny was from Washington Heights, grew up right by the stadium.
Never would play for New York.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez, I'll be honest, dude. I think it's insane that he's not in the Hall. Albert Bell's another guy. I get it. And I've gone on tangents with this shit. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm going to keep saying it until they do something different. Put their transgressions on the plaques. Give them a chance at redemption. Let them talk to kids. But don't be the fun police when you guys were in the know the whole time because it saved your goddamn sport. That's all I got. And how about Bryce Harper getting into the war of words with Rob Manfred? Rob Manfred needs to know his role and shut his mouth because he's not one of the guys.
Yeah, I just want to touch on your comment with Manny and the rest of them. So my thing with Manny, the bat speed, the freaking bat speed.
He was a huge influence on Big Papi, and Papi's in the hole.
Yeah, and Papi juiced, and he admitted to it, and he's there. It's how you handle this, how they're pretty much treating it.
Andy Pettit admitted to it with being influenced by Roger Clemens. And one thing I respect about Andy, even if we suspect that it might have happened in a Yankee uniform, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. If you weren't there, you don't know for sure unless you have an inside source. But the fact that Andy basically said that shit went down in Houston, whether true or not, I love it because he's still protecting his pride with the Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But the bat speed. I mean,
That's
the only
Andy
one that
Pettit's way of saying I was with someone else, but I didn't bring her in the game. Dude, I like Andy Pettit. He's a high character guy. He may very well have told the truth. But, it's about image. Pettit was always known as a very nice guy. Roger Clemens isn't in the hole. It ain't just because of the juice. Part of it is he wasn't the nicest guy. I mean, I got into it with Dorney the other day. He took his father-in-law, who is a Yankee fan, to the game yesterday, and Dorney was like, in his typical form, talking shit to Mike Stanton. He loves to call him Mike, not Giancarlo. He has his reasons. And it was just, where am I going here? Losing my train because I'm laughing a little about some of this.
your father-in-law or Dorney's father-in-law, and Dorney was talking crap about Stanton and why.
It's a lost moment. I literally forgot what I was going to say.
I would just take a guess that they paid him a king's ransom, and he hasn't delivered for the amount of money we pay him or something like that. Would be what my guess would be that he was talking crap about him about. I don't know.
But back to I remember now. Thank you. I just popped in. Revisiting Piazza's career numbers against Roger Clemens.
Oh, Mike Piazza, yeah.
He owned him in the regular season, no question about it. I was at a game where he took Clemens deep twice. I went with my late father. So what does a Yankee fan do when you're getting messed with like that from a Met fan? Hey, what was his average against him in the World Series?
That one.
And then, I'm
The
getting
baseball
fired
bat.
up, and he's like, oh, the juice. I'm like, okay, because and no one in a Met uniform ever juiced.
No one ever broke the rules. No one was ever doing
No
drugs
cocaine
or anything. Yeah,
no cocaine
drugs
in the 80s.
Nope.
Nothing.
That might as well be a performance-enhancing drug. Look at Lawrence Taylor. Look how much better he was because of the cocaine. You know what I mean? No offense.
Off the record, my father would always playfully said, I don't know who's pissing for him, but it's either Belichick or Parcells, but somebody had to piss for him.
Yeah.
But I am happy, on a more serious note, that Lawrence Taylor seems to be in a better place in his life today.
Dude, I'll tell you this. I off the side here, I watched some highlights of Lawrence Taylor, and I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me?
And I say to myself,
the dude is an absolute animal.
With some of his wild times, I say to myself, how much of that career did it take off? The other part that took off stuff on the career is when he was chasing down Brett Favre in the 92 season, tearing his Achilles. A very young, mobile Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. NFL related. Terry McLaurin, I made a little bit of a sly mention about it on a previous show. It is reported that he is looking to be traded. So now, let's just say, if he makes life hard for them, and this is a guy that's been nothing but the great soldier for that team. The total professional.
He's been the only bright light on that team for a few years since he's been drafted. But here's the only thing I'm going to say. I think I mentioned it on our text message group. Is he's doing the Brandon Ayuk thing, and that does not pay off, man. Deebo Samuel did something very similar. They
literally nailed the right name.
But they again, it worked very well for the player, but not well for the organization. Now, obviously, Ayuk had the issue with the knee and stuff like that. But here's where I'm going to go with it. Even if the Niners paid both of them where they paid him was the problem, like the very end of training camp. So they missed all training camp, and it was a big distraction for everybody. It ruined the team camaraderie. It ruined the reputation or the camaraderie with the quarterback, and that's where you really need to be. So Ayuk finally got signed last year at the very end of training camp, missed all training camp, and then he was a freaking no-show until he tore his ACL and MCL last year. That's just bad luck, to be fair.
Yes,
But
indeed.
still, missing all the training camp with these disgruntled receivers and stuff like that can ruin your team. I mean, not
We've
that
seen
anybody
it
pays attention to the
happen
Niners all
time
day.
and time again.
Yes,
Sometimes it
it
works
ruins
out for the
things.
better
Most
because
of the
it
time, it doesn't, though.
galvanizes teams. But
It mostly doesn't,
sometimes,
though.
yeah, it depends on who we're talking to. There's different levels. But Terry McLaurin, to me,
He's a
um,
baller, dude.
yeah, he deserves a little more respect from this particular organization for one
Agreed.
simple reason.
Agreed, though.
It wasn't like they were a winning culture and they're just like, we love you, Terry, but you're getting a little older. No, dude. He bought into you guys when you had Riverboat Ron, you had the carousel at quarterbacks, and now you guys are in good hands and you don't want to pay him, but you're down to pay an outsider who's definitely lost a couple of steps
Oh,
in
for sure.
Deebo Samuel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think Terry has every right to be upset and ask for a trade. I felt strongly about this even before this news. I said this before. I think the Washington Commanders are one of last year's successful teams that might get one of the more ruder awakenings this year. And it's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they're not a good football team, because they are. Jaden Daniels, ton of respect for what he's doing. But just like the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys, they have a very tough schedule and one that pales in comparison to what they dealt with last year. And now with this stuff coming with McLaurin, I'm going to be honest. I have a little more hope for week one than I did, say, 5 hours ago.
I'll say this. I mean, it's just like every other first-year quarterback. I'll go back. I always refer to the Niners to say I'm most familiar with them, but like the Colin Kaepernick situation where he came in for Alex Smith, who was balling out. He had a fucking all-pro fucking season going on, and he got hurt. And then Kaepernick came in and he played for the next 2 games, and he was on fire. So then Jim
Good
Harbaugh
shout and
said,
good point. Yes, sir.
he is the hot hand. I'm going to go with him to the remainder of the season. But again, Alex Smith was just fine. However, where I'm going with this is no one had tape on Colin Kaepernick. No one knew his ability to run / throw the ball. There was no tape on him.
Right.
Now, 1 year back into the league, people have tape on Jaden Daniels. They know his mannerisms. They know his his progressions. They'll have tape on him. They'll understand more. They'll be studying a little bit more.
I
So they
still
actually
think
can
he's going
understand
to
him
have
being
a
professional
sensational
athlete.
career and more
Oh,
staying power
I do as well. I do as well.
than
I'm just saying it might
a
be a
guy
little
like
different this year.
Kaepernick, who, in my opinion, was more of a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
You have some guys that are flashes in the pans. You have some guys I think have the sustainability. Daniels, I felt this way in college, especially when he was cooking with Malik Neighbors. This is the kind of talent that's going to be around a long time. However, some of the reasons I mentioned and what you just brought now could be a more challenging year too. There's certain trends in the NFL that are always going to be the same. When you lose coordinators, the quarterback play. I mean, we've seen it with greats over the years. How many coordinators has Tom Brady and Brett Favre lost? They've had to go through it a little here and there because of it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I know that Kaepernick was hot. Alex Smith was injured by the New York Giants in 2012. It was a very intense rematch from the great NFC title game. Unfortunately, he was injured in that game, and then Kaepernick blew up after that, ultimately taking you guys to the Super Bowl that you ended up losing that year. Point to be made is, I think in that particular game, revisiting Baltimore versus the Niners, I think if Alex Smith starts that game, they win that game. It's easy to say. We don't know
I
for
agree with
sure,
you.
but it's my opinion.
Richie, I don't mean to go on a tangent, I guess, about the Niners, but if you ask any of my wife, my brother, my closest friends, I never understood why. I mean, I get it, but the Kaepernick thing, but at the same time, Alex Smith was playing so well and earned
Well,
that spot.
the thing is,
for all those years, he was so shitty
they
because of the
talked
team he had
about
around
him
him.
borderline bust because he was the number 1 overall pick.
He
But
never
to
had
your
talent.
point, if you look at the most important stat, which is winning and losing, that is very much in his favor. It was nice to see him get like that swan song with the They were the football team when they won the division last.
The
I was
Redskins.
wait,
Yeah,
the
we'll
Redskins, they were the football team in the worst year in the history of the NFC East, 2020. But unfortunately, that's what precedes his rep is the unfortunate injuries. Because prior to that horrific one, that he could have lost a limb, or even worse, died.
And died. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Then Taylor Henneke got to start. The rest is history. Oddly enough, even with Henneke, that particular Washington team, as bad as the NFC East was, gave Tampa probably their toughest game of the entire playoffs.
And for the record, I am not comparing Colin Kaepernick's talent to Jaden Daniels. I'm just comparing the unknown, the unknown of knowing how to play that quarterback. Because the second year Kaepernick came in the league, he was nowhere near as successful as he was that half year he played.
By the teams with the most familiarity, obviously divisional.
Correct.
And in that regard, I felt like what they were doing in Seattle, because that was starting to get to the next level where Seattle was being that team. Because that was
Legion of Boom. Yep.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal NFC title game where Sherman made that interception battling with Crabtree, and then just real intense in that post-game interview with Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, so Richie,
that was the Navarro Bowman game, if I'm not mistaken.
So the Niners would have won that game at home at a neutral field, but not at Seattle.
I'll be honest, bro.
I'm serious.
I thought they would have won that game.
I wasn't happy. The 13th man in Seattle's real. Like, it's
no doubt.
It is freaking real, dude. There's a reason why they're called that. And they would have won on a neutral field at home, but not at Seattle. And that's where the game was.
And it
was one of those games where, I mean, that defense it's legendary how good that defense was.
Yeah, speaking of Seattle, it came up in shouts out NFC Beast. Some of the members of the show, I've been reaching out to them. We're trying to orchestrate a big NFC East show where we're getting representation from Philly, Dallas. Of course, we have Giant fans here on our panel already. Looking to get Washington Commander fans, but one of the best groups out there to just talk football, real knowledgeable fans, really awesome people, and a lot of funny people where you could, have a good time and still talk some shit to one another, but some real good people in there. And NFC East show, that'll be the last one because the Eagles have champs. I hate saying that. That'll be our final show for these divisional previews.
So you're going to have Nunez, you're going to have you, Idris, Zappi. Who's got the Commanders?
We got multiple people that are on this. Marcus Green, another Eagle fan. I spoke to him. Who else? Keith Woolridge, one of the moderators for that page. We're definitely reaching out. The Commanders? Dude, the only guy that I know to be a Commander fan, there's two people. One guy works in with me, and the other guy is my financial advisor. That's it.
Sorry for your loss, too. I don't know any.
Bro, I'll be honest. If some of the
I don't know why. I seriously don't know any
years on social media, I've run into some interesting fans of every fan base. But in this particular group, the Beast, and there are a lot of knowledgeable fans. And I also think it has to do with recency success because I'm the type of person that I don't mind jumping into the fire no matter what my team is doing, because I always feel that people are going to respect my fandom regardless of team affiliation because of my knowledge. Same reason I respect you as a fan. Same reason I respect Zappi as a fan, etc. But you don't see a lot of them there. I mean, even in my case,
dude, up here
in that particular group, a little more quiet.
Yeah, well, where I'm at. I mean, upstate New York. I mean, there's a lot of Giants fans, as you would expect.
Yeah,
a lot of Bills.
For years, the Giants were at SUNY Albany.
Yeah, a lot of Bills fans. Believe it or not, a lot of Eagles fans. I don't see any freaking Commanders fans. You know what I mean? And you'll have your oddballs like me, like with the Niners, or you'll have
I'll tell you about some oddball
Broncos
stuff.
Or somebody. But
I'll tell you about some oddball stuff. There's a woman that I used to see every football Sunday when I would hang out with my guy Matty. Rest in peace, Matty. Of course, Bretsky was there usually too. Always wore on every Sunday her traditional New York Giants navy blue sweatshirt, but with a
Okay.
Boston Red Sox hat, and that threw people off. And she broke it down, explaining how generationally from her family, this is pre-Patriots, the Giants were the most followed in that region, Connecticut, Boston, surrounding regions,
upper
surrounding
Northeast. Yep.
places.
Yep.
And you don't see it very often anymore. We have some people in our fan base that support like Boston teams, but they're Giant fans. Even go back as far as my late friend Maddie actually was showing me a kid picture when they put him in a Giant shirt. But, obviously grew up a Patriot fan, the Bledsoe era, even prior to that, Steve Grogan, he experienced that. But just some interesting caveats about, some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I'm sure in Florida you probably see you guys are probably very versatile. Like you probably have every single fan base there.
Well,
Here
yeah, I mean, there's so many people from everywhere.
Exactly my point. Yeah, here it's not so much. You know
And
what
then,
I mean?
of course, you have, let's call it what it is. You have people that jump on bandwagons. That's also a thing.
Like Brett. Sorry.
Hey, you don't gotta be sorry. I didn't leave my team. Brett can't say shit to me. I beat your team in Super Bowl 25, and I beat your team in Super Bowl 42 and 46. 3-0, baby. 3-0.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have you seen the pictures of Brett when he was a kid in his Buffalo Bills stuff?
I could do you one better. I remember seeing a Buffalo Bills jersey that was tucked deep into Brett's closet when we were roommates. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, I believe it was the great J.P. Losman.
J.P. Losman, no way!
Yes,
J.P.
sir. Yeah.
Oh man, that's back in the early 2000s. This guy.
Yeah. It was like the white jersey with like the shoulders blue and a little bit of red in there. Not as cool as their 90s threads. Their 90s threads were nice.
Yeah, back when dude. I think we're gonna have going to Brett's parents' house, in the next few days here or whatever. But I'm gonna ask him if I can see any pictures. He had the straight up sweatpants and the sweatshirt, like. Oh man, I'll see if they have a picture or something. I'll take a snapshot and send it to you if I can get his parents to find them.
Last thing, Shed, before we get out of here, I know that you got to get to other things right now. Based on what you've seen with the trade deadline, back to baseball for one last second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep.
No, we're good because this is how it worked out. It's perfect. Who do you like to go to the World Series based on what you're seeing right now on the rosters and just player movement and just momentum and whatever?
Not gonna lie, man. Toronto made a big splash today.
Yes.
And they're already playing some extremely good ball. Barring any injuries, major injuries, I like Toronto. Back to the Joe Carter days when they won back to.
You're leading me into what I'm about to say now.
Oh, okay.
The 1993 rematch. Philadelphia Phillies, Toronto Blue Jays. Mitch Wildly Williams served that thing up for Joe Carter, walk-off home run to win the World Series. This time around, will it be different? I don't know. That is, and it. I hate Philly. I don't like any of their teams, but it's my responsibility to tell the truth. And I very sincerely do mean this. It's not that the Brewers have the best record in the National League right now. I just don't believe in them all the way. The Dodgers, in my opinion, don't look hungry. I'll be honest. They don't look hungry. The Mets have the potential to get there. I mean, shoot, I think the Padres could get there as a wild card and be a strong wild card. I'm a little disappointed that the Cubs didn't do more. I think this was a golden opportunity for them to enhance their roster. They did not. As much as they could have, they didn't do enough. I don't think so. I think they messed up there.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the Dodgers actually in the National League. Despite them being this I'm too good
They
for
are
everybody
that talented,
mentality.
bro. They are that
I
talented.
that's my point. I mean, at some point when push comes to shove, and the playoffs are going to here, and let's be honest, they're going to be there. That's when they're going to show up. That and they have the playoff experience and they have the talent. That's it. I, NLCS. I'll go. I'll go. Excuse me. 4-2, Dodgers. But and
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
got them playing the Phillies.
no. Oh, in the NLCS, yes, but in the World Series, Toronto.
Okay, so you got the Dodgers 4-2 over the Blue Jays.
No, I have the Dodgers 4-2 over the Phillies in the NLCS, playing the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series.
All right, once again I'm super unbiased because I don't like the Blue Jays, but I do love Don Mattingly though, and he is a member of that organization right now. I got the Toronto Blue Jays winning the World Series 4-2 over
Ooh,
the Philadelphia Phillies, just like they did back in 1993. This will be their first championship since the '93 season.
I
They
like
were in a
that.
position to three-peat, and then
I
there
like
was a
that.
strike, but they weren't that good that year. It was the Yankees division.
Yankees would
It
have
was going to be
taken the World
Yankees
Series that
Expos,
year.
and I'll be honest, it would have been great to get to the World Series, but nobody was going to beat the Expos that year, in my opinion.
Pedro.
Pedro, the big unit, that
Yeah.
team was loaded. That one of the greatest single season teams from a talent based standpoint that I've ever seen. I do think we would have beat the White Sox that year. You know, it's so shameful that they had that strike. It would have been nice for Matty Lee to at least be able to play in the Fall Classic at least once, and of course, you know that he retired before the '96 season. So it's a weird one for me because I don't want a division rival to ever succeed, especially Boston and Baltimore. I have a different hate for those two. Um, but all I'm going to say is if they win, I'll be happy for Mattingly because he'll finally get a World Series. That's all I could
Yeah.
say. I'm not going to be
Add
like,
to, add to
I'm
his
not going to be like,
resume.
oh, amped and pumped that it's the Blue Jays.
Add to his resume. He should be in the Hall. Just my opinion.
Absolutely. Ask his peers. Ask his peers.
And also, I mean, you made a great point off air. Like the Mark McGuire's that all those years that they were competing for All-Star games, Mark McGuire was juicing that
Yeah, because he was in the American League for
allegedly,
they were ahead
and
of it. The Bash brothers were ahead of the league on the whole. Those boys were juicing back in the Oakland days.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's when McGuire and Jose were on Oakland. Or
Absolutely.
so you take away the juicing. Now, who's your number one first baseman all those years on the All-Star team? That's
Absolutely.
Don Mattingly, and he was also a multiple Gold Glove winner. I mean,
So
and
it's like you can't have it
McGuire
both
was not,
ways.
but it
You
was
punish the
the
guys with the
offense that got him there.
numbers. Yeah, you punish the guys with the numbers that cheated. But then the guys that might be short a little bit on the numbers that didn't cheat, you're going to screw them too. But then you're going to give us guys that insult your intelligence like Joe Mauer and Scott Rowland. Once again, I have nothing against either player. They were good, but they're not Thurman Munson good, and they're not Don Mattingly good.
That's the Hall of very good in certain situations, and those are the definitions
And
of
I'm
good.
sorry, sometimes things common sense needs to take over. Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, they did not need that shit to be great.
Correct. Roger Clemens was good even before he allegedly juiced or whatever. Like, he is a Hall of Famer.
But
Stop.
this is the same institution that kept Shoeless Joe Jackson out up until recently, now that it looks like it takes a turn after Pete Rose passed away. Under no circumstances were they going to allow Pete Rose to get into the hole while he was still alive, and they even have it on paper because Rose signed something to
Correct.
endorse that. But Thurman Munson being the captain of the New York Yankees and dying, it wasn't poor
Yeah.
performance. It wasn't it wasn't regression.
He freaking died.
Coming off of 2 World Series with Reggie Jackson and co. And are you kidding me?
And he was actually the founder of Mr. October. He was the one that said, "Why don't you just talk to Mr. October over there
Absolutely. And when you
in the locker room?" And that's how Mr. October was founded because of
it's
Thurman
like
Munson.
Pat
Well, that
Riley
should be
created the word three-peat, although he never three-peated.
Yeah,
because the Lakers were going for it.
Yeah, that's not why you should put him in the hall. But the point is being made that like that's how popular. I mean, him saying that
Buddy,
created that. So
in
that's
the
how much
history-
respect he had in the game.
in the history of the New York
take
Yankees, the illustrious history of the New York Yankees. Who's better than Thurman? It's Yogi Berra
Yogi Berra
and Bill Dickey, and then it's Thurman, and then it's Jorge.
Yeah, hip hip. Jorge.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. He would be a hell of a manager too if he ever comes back. Catchers by nature usually become great managers. I mean,
Joe Girardi.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre. Yeah.
Good show, Shed. This was a fun time. We were able to talk baseball front end and the end, mixing in a little football as well. If you haven't, guys, please make it a point to like and subscribe to the channel, the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. Check out the Vicious Mix, the V Mix with our man, Idris Salam. Also making a point to check out the Casual Convo Show every Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m. Check out the Bleed Blue Show as well, and give our guy Johnny Nass some love on the Basement Show with Mr. Nass, as well as the Sports Corner. You know I hate Philly. That dude is a cool-ass Eagles fan, though. I will say that. And I spoke to him as well, possibly do a, for that NFC East show, just keep bringing more people in. We might do a co-collab for the Basement Show, as well as here on the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast, do a co-collaboration on that one. Shed, any thoughts on the way out?
No, man. I'm happy with the trade deadline for our team. And
just wanted that starter. That's all I wanted. And it's funny because I lost track of the time because I actually lost track of the day. I thought we had one more day.
Oh no, it's good, man. I just like, oh yeah, I thought it was done at 4, but
the
it's all good.
Deprivation is real, but I am excited about seeing the new Yankee faces coming in. So, if your team did well, be happy today. And if your team sold or if your team didn't do enough, don't be upset later in the playoffs if things don't go their way. Did you hear that, Brett? Make the move when you can to win a championship. I'm sacrificing our fantasy league this year. Probably going to take it on the chin, but you know what keeps me warm at night? My trophy.
Giggity.
You the man, Shed. Great job.
Oh, man, thanks.
Yeah.